Hello everyone, Factoring Day's second video. So we're in today's first video, and that has a look at weather for the next week to 10 days. And all of the confusion that I've got at the moment in terms of the chance of cold weather starting, I mean it's cold now, but proper cold and blocked weather starting at the weekend and then going through into next week. There is still a possibility we could get something quite significantly cold starting at the weekend and going into next week, but there's a lot of uncertainty about it. Check out today's first video, which is here on the home page. Just scroll down the page a little bit, you'll find it above the snow desk to see what all the latest on that. This second video is going to be the JMA 3-monthly update. So we're going to go from next month, from December through to February, with the Japanese Meteorological Agency model, and see what the JMA is showing, essentially for the winter of 2017-2018. Now, this will make up part of the third and final seasonal model roundup that we'll do on the last Saturday of the month, so a week on this coming Saturday. So the JMA update will form part of that, but we'll have something like 12 or 13 long-range models to add to it, so we won't be able to go in depth into what the JMA is showing. Get a lot of information from this long-range model, so you always like to take this one out and sort of look at it on its own, in its own terms, and that's what we're going to do for today's second video. So we'll start off looking at the JMA North Pole view down, Northern Hemisphere and North Pole view down, and then we'll have a look at the tropical and mid-latitude view. Just say the Chris shop is open, so you've got any Chris shop to do at Amazon between now and Christmas. Just click the green button underneath this video that says Gav's Christmas shop, takes you through to the Chris shop page, and then from there you'll know you're on the right page because you'll see some snowflakes fluttering down the page, and we give you a little bit of a Merry Christmas as well on that page, so you'll know you're at the right place. From there you go through the Amazon banners, or use the Amazon search widget to search out whatever items you want, and then you go through to Amazon, you do your Chris shopping as normal at Amazon. Chris, gone from Gas Weathers to Amazon, we get a review fee on the things that you buy. So big thank you to everybody for doing their Chris shopping at Amazon through Gas Weathers again this season. Right, let's start off with the JMA December 500 millibar height anomaly chart. So, as I say, we're looking from the North Pole down. This is the North Pole of the Northern Hemisphere. Just there, the mid-latitudes of the Northern Hemisphere are around here. So, for example, we've got America and Canada over there. We've got sort of Russia, Asia over here. And then we've also got Europe over there. The British Isles is just there, and of course that's the Atlantic in between America and Europe. So we see that for December, the 500 millibar height anomaly is placing an area of above average heights very close to southern and southwestern parts of the country. Below average heights in across Greenland and Iceland. So I think we're doing something a bit like that with the flow and with the jet stream as well. You might look around and think there's going to be a lot of dry weather going on there with those yellow colours over not just the UK and Ireland, but many parts of northern and western Europe. It always turns out to be a little bit more unsettled actually than those charts imply. I think generally quite an average sort of December there, fairly mild-ish I would have thought, especially down in the south, and there would be some rain at times in the north. The driest conditions would be to the south and to the west. We go through to January and we see quite significant changes then. So we've got a deep area of below average height centering over and just to the west, northwest of the British Isles. Quite a deep trough is in there. There's a ridge going out, or pulling out into the central part of the northern Atlantic. And we've also got some ridging just there and also just there as well. So the flow and the jet stream doing something rather like that, and it looks like we are probably being placed on the cold side of the jet stream there. So whilst it is an unsettled month, this trough will be producing quite a lot of rain. Also, I think there is the potential for cold snaps to be coming through. I also think we'll probably be bringing the wind from a northwest sort of southeast direction, along with the jet stream doing something like that. So there could be some wintry potential in there in January. Not a widespread sort of severely cold depths of winter type month, but I certainly think there's enough there to suggest at the very least some colder snaps coming through. And then we're moving on to February. And again, it's very similar, but this one looks slightly better for cold again. So now the trough is not only centred across the UK, it's also elongating down into southern parts of Europe as well. We're strengthening a ridge around here, around Greenland and Iceland. It looks like we're still on the cold side of the jet, so let's get rid of all that and show you where the jet stream is. So I think we're doing something rather like that with the flow and the jet stream. So again, it looks like we're on the cold side of the jet quite firmly there, and I think we would again be at risk of bringing in round this trough, bringing the air from the north, possibly even more of a northeasterly type tilt to the air coming through there in February. So it looks like, if JMA is right, it's winter that gets progressively more conducive to bringing in colder weather, culminating in what could be quite a cold signal actually for February. Let's have a look at the tropical and mid-latitude view next then. So I'll just talk you through what you're looking at with the chart. The equator of the Earth is just there. So the southern hemisphere is on the southern side of the equator. The northern hemisphere is on the northern side of the equator. The poles are off the chart here. Of course, we're just looking at the North Pole view down, so we don't need to look at it again. That's the South Pole. That's where the South Pole would be, down there. North Pole, of course, is over there. And just to explain where everybody is, so that's North America just there. Again, you can't see the sort of the polar regions with this. You can't see all that far north, so we don't really see Canada on that view, but we do see North America. This is Asia just here. Parts of Russia are just there. Europe is over here, and the British Isles in the top right hand corner of the chart as you're looking at it, with the Atlantic Ocean in between. A reminder of the 500 millibar height anomaly for December. We're starting off back at December again. We've got the above average heights to the south-southwest, below average heights, can't really see them, but they're up to the northwest. And I think bringing the flow of jet stream through like that. You might think that's quite a settled month, but actually the model is going for slightly above average rainfall, particularly for northern and western parts of the country. So again, these charts, when you see the yellow colours, it appears that they might be showing an area of high pressure, but you have to go a little bit deeper with the colours, more towards orange and red on the 500 millibar height anomalies to actually see where those areas of high pressure are sitting. Temperature anomalies in December, they're coming out milder than average, above average temperatures in December. The mean wind flow is quite interesting. It's a job to make out these black arrows, but for northern parts, the mean wind direction looks like it's coming in from the west. To our south, to the south of us, it looks like we're bringing down easterlies. So, and over here you can see the black arrows again pointing east. So much of Europe could have quite a cold month, although the temperature anomaly isn't particularly cold there across Europe in December. It's actually milder than average. Not sure how that is possible really with easterly winds coming out of Russia. If you follow the black arrows back, you can see that the easterly wind across the continent is coming through from quite a long way east, really. It's coming right way from sort of western parts of Russia. So I'm not quite sure how it's possible that you would get a mild and average month across the continent of Europe with easterly winds coming out of Russia, but that's what models show. They always favour milder conditions, really. So I think for the British Isles anyway, we're looking at a fairly changeable month for the north, probably drier in the south, on the periphery of colder conditions that I think would be in across the continent. This is how January is looking. So again, we've got this very, very deep trough centering around to the west of the British Isles. That red area just there, that is what is an area of high pressure on these charts. So again, when you have the yellow colours, it looks like you've got relatively high heights, but haven't really. It's always the oranges and reds here that are depicting actual areas of high pressure. So we've got an area of high pressure pulling back into the sort of central part of the Atlantic Ocean, heading towards the east coast of America, which means that around this trough, we're probably bringing the flow down from the northwest at times. There is the potential, I would have thought, there for at very least some cold snaps to be coming through. Precipitation in January is looking above average, so a wetter than average month in January, more so than we have in December. The temperature anomaly is still holding up just about a little bit milder than average there. The black arrows, again, always very hard to make these out, depicting the mean wind direction, but they are coming around that trough from a northwesterly type direction. So an unsettled month in January, quite a bit of rain, but also with the chance of some cold snaps, and that'd be particularly so for the northern part of the country. But at times, as the jet stream goes to our south, we find ourselves on the cold side of jet stream. We could even bring some of those northerly incursions down into southern parts of the country. And then we go through to February, finally rounds all off. It is 3 months away, so obviously big health warning comes with this, but we find, again, a trough of low pressure is centred over the UK. It also extends down to our south. The ridge is still pulling back here into the sort of western part of the North Atlantic Ocean, so it's off the coast of America. And again, I think we can't really see the polar region, but we know we have got an area of blocking high pressure up towards the pole. So again, I think we'll be entrenching cold air from the north down into this trough at times, probably more so, or a greater risk anyway of doing that in February than we have in January. Precipitation anomalies are coming out above average in February, and of course would be expected because it's a trough that's sitting over the top of the country. As we pull colder air into that trough, there would be an increasing risk of some of that precipitation coming out wintry, of course. Temperature anomalies, they're still just about holding up above average, but if we see it, let's make it a bit wider with our semicircle, and we can see that many northern parts of the Atlantic are getting slightly colder than average temperatures. Essentially, I think we would be bringing in a cold and average month there in February. And the black arrows are showing the chance of wintry conditions because they are showing the winds are coming down from the north into that trough. Well, it's hard to make those black arrows out, but the winds are pushing down from the north into that trough of low pressure, not just the UK, but down into the whole of Western Europe, actually. The mild southerly winds, they are over in the eastern part of Europe, taking the milder air into the east of Europe. But we're on the cold side of the jet stream and on the cold side of the trough, so we are pulling down winds from a northerly direction. So quite an interesting update from the JMA this month. The temperature anomalies hold out above average throughout it all. So just on the temperature anomalies, it's going for a mild and average winter. But the actual patterns here are quite interesting. So it looks like December, probably the mildest, if the model is right, of the 3 winter months January, a very unsettled month, and with a few cold snaps thrown in, and then February probably is the one that holds the greatest risk of doing something more significantly wintry, perhaps. So a winter that gets progressively colder, maybe, as we go along, culminating in what could be really quite a cold and wintry final month of the winter. That's my interpretation. Anyway, I have to say it isn't backed up by the temperature anomalies, but then with these long-range models, they nearly always overcook the temperatures. They are very stubborn in refusing to forecast colder than average temperatures. So, I think it's a case of the temperature anomalies being a little bit too high with the model here, and the interpretation, you have to interpret weather forecast models, and the interpretation would be to pull those temperature anomalies down, something colder, especially so for February. This will go into the final season model roundup that we will do, as I say, on the final Saturday of the month. Not sure what day that is. It'll be the last Saturday of November. We'll get something like 13 or 14 long-range models together and see what they're all showing for the winter for one third and final time. The JMA update will form part of that seasonal model roundup, but we won't have time to touch on everything that you've seen in this video because we have all those models to look at. So that's brought you up to date with the latest with the JMA. Many of the long-range models are updating for the month now, so we'll probably have more in the next few days. Keep checking back for more, and that's all for now. Thanks for watching.